Okay. I'm trying to. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to Sorry about that. Actually, let me. There. It's kind of hanging on to the thing on the back. So sorry about that. I'm just gonna turn that light on. This actually does not look very good like that. So sorry, I had some technical difficulties there. Some people in the chat were saying that there was no sound on the computer. So I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna go off of my phone instead. And I might split this into two parts. So anyway, if you didn't hear me, here's basically what we're gonna do. First of all, hello YouTube, Scamp the Wolf here, back with another video for your viewing pleasure. And in this, we're gonna do the top 5 best movies, top 10 worst albums, and then top 25 best albums of the year. Forgive me if I'm looking over here the whole time because I have the lists on here on the computer, so that's why I'm looking over here at sometimes, and also I just kind of wander around like as well. So what we're gonna do is first we're gonna do top 10 worst albums, top 25 best albums, and then we're gonna do the top 5 best movies. So that's it, and then at the end we're gonna watch the ball drop. And as I was explaining before I realized that the sound was off, we're gonna use this to indicate when we're moving on from one list to the other. So this is the film slate that I got. Like, my mom gave me this, not for Christmas, but like kind of a couple days after. So first of all, we're moving on to the worst albums. There, that invitation there. So this is the worst albums portion of the video. So if you're already here, good. So actually, I should repost the links, the new links to the stream before I start going. And once again, I'm looking over here, so don't worry about that. And I'm gonna repost this on Discord. But if y'all hadn't come here already to like hang out or whatever, and if you get this, tell me if you hear sound, because more than likely there is sound because this is a better thing. But more than likely there is sound on this, but I just don't want to repeat the same mistake that I did last time. So yeah, so anyway, like I posted that on Discord, and then I'm gonna post another link. So if anybody has shown up, please tell me if there is sound, because I don't want to repeat the last part of it. I'm probably gonna be construed as crazy here, but whatever. So anyway, let's move on. Top 10 worst albums of the year. Yeah, these are albums that just didn't work for me this year. And there's also going to be some disappointments. I didn't say that part, so I'm going to get the disappointments out of the way really quickly. 1, August Burns Red, Death Below. Very underwhelming album from August Burns Red, which was a band that I liked a lot of their albums previously. In fact, Guardians was their strongest work in a while, and then they fell way, way off after Death Below. In fact, it's not a bad album. It just has a lot of bad decisions, I guess, in the production and in in the vocals, and the fact that it's nothing really that new from August Burns Red. It's just basically the same album over and over again. Like, and even the songs sound the same to the point to where it's like you can't tell what song is starting, what song's ending, that whole thing. So, Death Below by August Burns Red was a disappointment. Next one that was a disappointment is Black Orchid Empire, Tempest Veritas, if I am saying that right. This one is basically, um, I liked their last album, but this album just really didn't do all that much aside from some songs. There were some songs on this that I liked, but they kind of just like recycled a lot of progressive cliches, progressive metal rock cliches, whatever. Like 7, 8 time signature, like the same boring stuff that you've heard so many times before, and it's just the same stuff, basically. So, yeah, it didn't work for me at all. I still want to see this band do something good. I want to see this band actually do something good. But they have, yeah, they have the ability to do something good, but this just didn't work this time around. Sorry to say. Another dishonorable mention, Godsmack Lighting Up the Sky. This is probably obvious. It just wasn't an album that was going to be good, and for a supposed final album, just whatever. I'm not a fan of Godsmack, real. I have all their albums. Hate to say, but I mean, like, just for collecting purposes, and no, this is not one of their best albums, in my opinion. Even the fans would probably say that. Even people who are not in Godsmack's camp would say that this is a bad album. I don't really think it's bad. It's just more mediocre, mid. Yeah, that's basically it for Godsmack. There you go. Of Mice and Men, Tether, again, a band with a lot of potential, and I've liked a lot of their work before. Like bands, like albums like Defy, Restoring Force, that kind of stuff. And they just kind of fell off after they signed with Sharp Tone. We had Echo, which was very bland, very forgettable, other than one song. And now we have this one, which has some of the same problems that that last album had, which is like unfinished songs, basically like unappealing songs, even like if you want to do that, and like ideas that are good, that I would agree are very good, but they don't fully like just conclude anything or go anywhere. They have no sense of direction. And that's basically my problem with this album, is that it's very like it's not as incomplete as Echo was. That one was very messy, but and I probably should have put that on the worst of 2021, but this album is still not the best album from Mice and Men. I want to see this band go back to what they were doing on Defy, or even Cold World, even like that would be because that music was good because it wasn't like rushed or anything like that, or it was complete. It felt complete. The songs felt complete and stuff, but it feels like they're just happy with just being okay. You know what? We're just a metalcore band. We're not going to do anything innovative or anything like that, and that's kind of disappointing from someone who was a fan of Mice and Men from 2014 to like later, and I just want to see them do something way better than what they did here. And this last disappointment, not really much to say about this one. Royal Blood, Back to the Water Below. This band will probably end up being like a one-hit wonder or one or two album wonder, basically like even 3 album wonder if you count Typhoons. But I was crazy about that album. This one I was not really crazy about. It was just, okay, just nothing really like engaging or anything like that, and it's pretty boring. It's a pretty boring album, and like that wasn't something that their first 2 albums had, or select cuts from their 3rd album, like that one song I forget what it's called. But it's just boring. It's just not interesting music, and it's unfortunately the truth because like I haven't really come back to this album or any songs from this album, like even remotely. So I mean, like it's not terrible, but it's just vapor. It just exists. So now we get to the top 10 worst albums of the year. We get to number 10, Stitched Up Heart to the Wolves. Again, very mediocre album. very bland album, and the production is not doing it any favors, basically. Um, it's kind of just generic, like hard rock. You get anywhere, basically, is what it is. I don't really have to say much about this because I don't really remember much. All I remember is it was pretty forgettable, to be honest. It's not a very interesting album, in my opinion. Um, Number 9, Escape the Fate, Out of the Shadows. No surprise, I had Chemical Warfare at number 2 in 2021. I have this album at number 9 because at least there is at least some effort, but it's squandered by the fact that it's Escape the Fate and it's basically nothing really different from anything. The only thing is that they put a little bit more effort into some stuff, but other than that, it's just basic. It's just nothing. It's just not gonna do any. It's not gonna provoke any sort of reaction, and that easily made it on the list for that reason. So forget about that album. Number 8, Otherwise, Godzillionaire. What a title for an album, and what a title for an album that does not have any sort of appeal whatsoever, other than if you don't want to listen to Shinedown, or if you're one of those people that likes the "hey, we have this at home" meme, and to be like, "oh, hey, I want Shinedown. We have Shinedown already." What? This is Otherwise. This isn't Shinedown. This isn't a top tier active rock band or whatever. This is Otherwise. Nobody listens to Otherwise. This Otherwise is like a dollar store version of any bands like them, really. This band just nope. It's just a very forgettable album. Very cringy vocals. It's just nothing that interesting, to be honest. It doesn't grab your attention. It does nothing. It does nothing. Pop Evil released an album this year, and at least that one was a little bit. I could see what they were doing. They tried to do different things. They tried to go metalcore a little bit, but otherwise, they just don't do that. Their vocals are bland. Everything's bland about them, so forget about them. So, number 7, Dayshell, Pegasus. Oh, this is another Mice and Men type band. Because it has one of the original vocalists, and then he's doing this, and the production's bad, and the songs are not there, and the vocals are not even there either, and this is just a big misfire, in my opinion. This is a very big misfire. It's just nothing, basically. At least on their last album, they had on previous albums, they had some things to really write home about. This just doesn't really have that. The writing's not there. Nothing is really there on this album, and that's kind of what you're seeing with a lot of these albums, is that they're just there. They exist. They just are vapor. They're just nothing. They just just don't do much, and that's pretty much because there's not really a lot of bad albums on the list. There's just a lot of just mediocre ones that do nothing. And Dayshell is definitely one of those. And same could be said for the number 6 album, which is Ubiquitous by Puddle of Mudd. But even in saying that, I would be okay, this is probably an easy target because Wes Scantlin is crazy and all that stuff. He banned from Machine Shop. He covered About a Girl. That ended up pretty well. But I expected something a little bit more So Bad It's Funny on this album. This album didn't really even do that. It is if you want to harken back to an older style of music, this really isn't what you want to do. It sounds like it, but I would rather have somebody expand upon it than just this. And the vocalization isn't really there. This is basically a garage band, sucking, basically. For an album like this, we call it Ubiquitous, which is a very complicated word. And Puddle of Mudd's not a very complicated band. And in fact, they're dumb to a T. Then, I don't know. Whatever. Number 5, OTEP, The Godslayer. I didn't want to put cover albums on here, but OTEP, dang it, you did it again. You made another iffy album. Uh, and I thought you were going somewhere, and then you make this. You make this covers album where it's like, oh, it's a new album. I probably should have looked at what this was, because I did not know this was going to be a covers album, and the fact that the covers are not done well. Please ask. Please tell me why this was such. Why that was this made? Like, was this made just cause or something? Just please ask me why this album was made, because the covers on here, the Nirvana cover, Perfect Circle cover, like any cover on here, Eminem cover. Look, Eminem's already overrated. We don't really need your help making him suck. Even not that Eminem sucks, but he's overrated. But we don't need OTEP trying to be like him or whatever. We don't need OTEP to really do anything other than just try to make actual original music after this, and just throw this away in the trash can, if you will. There's no trash can in here, but there is over at my house or whatever, so forget about it. So we get to number 4. We get to Dinosaur, Theory of a Dead Man. Nickelback Light. Nickelback, if they suck worse, and that's saying something, because Nickelback, I don't really think is that bad of a band, but Nickelback, if they were pretentious dicks, that's basically what Theory of a Dead Man is to me. Is that they're just, even people said them going back to rock is a good thing. People might think that, but this is not a good direction at all. And Theory of a Dead Man should have broken up after their 2002 album. Or their 2005 album. They should have just disbanded, called it a day, and then Tyler Connolly should have just done something, because this is very bad music. This is very status quo music. And well, what do you expect? It's Theory of a Dead Man. Of course, they're not gonna make anything. Of course, they're not gonna make high quality music or anything like that. But actually, I don't have anything else to say, really. Just forget about them. Nope. Number 3, Conquer Divide, Slow Burn. This album is a disappointment, and it's actually an album that sucks a lot. Because, for one, I understand it's all female fronted. I understand that. That's something we need more of. Spirit Box, Ginger, Future Palace, we have other bands as well. We have Ithaca as well. That's a good one. We have a lot of good female-fronted bands, and this isn't it. Okay? The lyrics are cliche. The lyrics are very dime a dozen. The musicianship is whatever. The vocals are so monotone, and they're so bland, and the scream vocals are so obnoxious on some levels that it's just nothing. I mean, this band just basically they're not very strong songwriters, and they're not very good at and that's something I didn't really want to see from this album. But it happened anyway, and that's why it is number 3 on the list, is because it is so generic. It is, this is all stuff that people have heard before, so forget about it. Just number 3, Conquer Divide, Slow Burn, gets the bronze medal. Yeah. Number 2, Bury Tomorrow, The Seventh Son. This is generic metalcore from the mid-2000s. This is the runoff material. Forget about it. This is, forget about it. This is, basically, just forget about this album, basically. The production's terrible on this thing. The vocals are terrible. Like, they should have, like, I know that they got rid of their clean vocalist, but honestly, the regular vocalist, the scream vocalist should have been just bye, because he's so terrible on this thing. It's just not very good, you know? Like, it's just... No, I don't remember anything from this album. All I remember is that it was just an oral assault of terrible. It's just nothing even that good to begin with. So forget about it. Number 2, Buried Tomorrow. Just, you know, you wonder why I've never gotten into this band. I've looked at this band's material like every now and then. I've tried to listen to it, tried to get into it, and never could. And now they just dropped a big one. They dropped a big, like, piece of garbage, and it solidifies my opinion about them. So, there we go. Number 1. This is going to hurt because I know a lot of you that are watching probably like this band, but this is a very messy album in my opinion. And I'm just going to say it. Avenged Sevenfold, Life is But a Dream. What a mess that this album was. It is a terrible mess. I mean, like, this proves that they should probably be just a legacy act. But if they want to make music, or any band on this list wants to make music, that's fine with me. But I'm just saying, like, this was a completely directionless album, in my opinion. Like, a lot of boring elements to it, a lot of messy elements, a lot of, like, terrible choices, terrible lyric writing choices, and, like, terrible vocals, in my opinion. It's just a mess of an album, and that's why it's at number 1, because this really should not be... An Avenged Sevenfold album after this long a time should not really be this bad. You know, should not really be this, like, much of a cluster of just non-finished ideas and stuff like that. Like, it shouldn't really be like that, but, like, the fact is that they made it, like, and there should have been so much more to this album other than just the most forgettable, bland music. Like, it's not even bland, it's just so misguided and so miscalculated, in my opinion. Like, most of the songs on here, most of the entire construct of the album is either boring, or it's just bland, or it's just WTF. Basically, the entire album, like, description. Like, just a lot of things didn't really go well on this album. Like, and I know some people will probably like this album. I've seen people say it's good. I've seen people say that, like, some tracks are good on it, and I would agree with that, probably. But the reason this is number 1 is because it is a mess. It's a frustrating album, in my opinion, and it's a complete, like, just whiplash from what you would expect. I mean, the stage wasn't really all that great, but this, inexcusable, in my opinion. And also, The Needle Drop and Crash Thompson also said that this album was their worst as well, which, thankfully, I'm not alone with. Like, I've had the issue before that I've had number 1s that nobody else has had, like, on the worst or best lists. But this year it managed to happen somehow. So yeah, that's my number 1 worst album of the year. Not, like, as bad as other... I mean, I don't think anything on this list is really, like, as bad as, like, stuff I've had to cover, like, in previous years, because, like, look at all of that stuff, like, that made me sad. That made me miserable. But, like, this is just, like, a lot of these were just very, just bland albums. Basically, very, like, mediocre, underwhelming efforts. And there were some that were predictably bad, but, like, none of these albums I really feel like I'm gonna be like upset over for like years and years and years to come. These are just personally albums that I didn't really enjoy, and you know, like I'm joking around. If I'm joking around in these, it's basically what I am. When I say like, oh, they should stop making music or whatever, I don't really think that. It's just making a joke or just so please understand that. So like that's basically all of these reviews and stuff. So that's basically it for that section, the top 10 worst albums of 2023, and we're gonna move to another section now, the top 25 best albums of 2023. So I might just go over I'm gonna go over some EPs real quick, two EPs in fact. Spiritbox, The Fear of Fear, and Post Prophet, Self Defeater EP. These are very good. Spiritbox, you might know Eternal Blue and stuff. And this EP is very strong. And you know the song Jaded, that is like a great song. And you also have The Void, which is a single from here. Very good stuff. And basically this EP is very good. It doesn't have the same replayability as Eternal Blue had, but that's okay. Or even Rotoscope even. But it's still a very good EP. I'm really pleased by it. And Self Defeater as well by Post Prophet. This band, if you like kind of a punk-ish, post-hardcore-ish kind of sound, but mixed with like alt-rock or alt-metal or whatever, you would probably like Post Prophet. I've sung high praises about them in various instances. I reviewed their first album a year after it came out. And I of course talked about this EP in a stream earlier, but yeah, I'm basically saying that this EP, is good, all the way around. Very strong material, especially the first track is good, and also singles like Drug Emporium and Cancer Culture, very good stuff, in my opinion. So actually, I'm gonna speed through the top 25 to 11. That's kind of what I've basically done. Number 25, Guilt Trip, Severance, very good, hardcore / metalcore, definitely recommended. Number 24, Metallica, 72 Seasons. Of course, Metallica doesn't really need any formal introduction because they are a big band and their music is, for the most part, very good. I do think this is a bloated album and it's lacking ballads and it's kind of overrated, but it's good. Metallica did a good job. Number 23, Graphic Nature, Mind Waiting to Die. This is a nu metal revivalist kind of band that made a very solid album this year, and I'm excited to see where they go next after this album, to see what kind of elements they will include in their music after this. And this is a very good debut album from them. Number 22, Orbit Culture, Descent, very good melodic death metal and stuff like that, even though I'm not really into that genre as much. And I really think that they did a good job with this album, so props to you guys, Orbit Culture, for making a very solid album. Number 21, Periphery 5, Djent is not a genre. And Djent, regardless of what you feel about the title, or whether Djent is a genre or not, Periphery did a really good job, and a very good improvement over their last album, which was kind of a mess. This one definitely brought them back to the high ranks that they were in previously, and yeah, it's probably the best album since. This time it's Personal or Select Difficulty, either of those two albums. Number 20, Night Verses. Every Sound Has a Color in the Valley of Night, Part 1. For a first part, for this instrumental band, this is an instrumental metal band. Very good stuff. This is very good. Definitely go check it out. Some strong instrumental work here. Of course, strong music here all around. Part 2 will probably be good, if we get a part 2. Because I'm very cautious when somebody says part 1. It's why have a part 1 without part 2? But you know what? Night Verses did a very good job with this album. Number 19, Event Animate, Heavener. Very good prog metalcore, they're really like this band is starting to get stronger and stronger with their material. Like, and I wasn't huge on them. Heavener is a very good gateway into that. Like what they're doing, they could do a lot better as well. Like, and like I just see a lot of good things in their. In, I just see a lot of good things coming for them in the future with other albums. So yeah, number 18, Acres, Burning Throw. This is Burning Throne. Actually, this is a hard rock slash post hardcore band that has the lead singer from Silent Planet on one of their songs, or I think the full band or whatever. Whatever. Look at the that album later, but yeah, this album very strong album. Like I didn't listen to it much. I just know it is a very strong album from a band that's up and coming. Definitely check it out. In the scene, number 17, Element 80 with AD. This is a very strong album. Like I've said about so many of these albums, it says this band came out in 03 with their self-titled, and then The Bear. Like those albums were good. This album is their best to date, and they have not been around for a while. So definitely go check this out. They are new metal slash like kind of hardcore metalcore. Like now, they were new. They were a part of like the new metal scene, and now they're doing like their own thing, and it sounds very good, very strong. I am very pleased with this. Number 16, Code Orange, The Above. This is not as strong as their previous two albums, which I thought, like, especially Forever, that was really good. This is pretty good too, but it's not as strong as those other albums, but it's still pretty good. I mean, check out the song Mirror. They really take some risks with that one, and the risk paid off very well, and overall, this is just a pleasure to listen to. Number 15, Heirloom, Romanticize. This is a very strong album. Like, harkens back to, like, the days of, like, 3 Days Grace, but with a metalcore twist, and no surprise, one of the members of 3 Days Grace, I think, is a co-producer on this album. And it's a lot of this is very strong material, I think. There's a lot on the plate for this band, just like with so many bands on that I've already talked about on this list. And yeah, Heirloom is one of them, so definitely check it out. Number 14, Courage, The Death We Seek. This is another strong album for this metalcore slash deathcore band. Not as strong as The Way It Ends, which is, in my opinion, their best album so far, but this is still pretty good. This is still very strong. Production not great. The production isn't the best, but there are songs on this album that are very, very strong, in my opinion. Definitely go check it out. Number 13, Mammoth, Wolfgang Van Halen, Mammoth 2. Very strong improvement over its predecessor, which I also thought was pretty good. This one is stronger. This one's more cohesive. This one has a lot more songs that are definitely worth checking out. Like the song Optimist, which is a deep cut. Definitely check that song out. Drum work on that track is great. I really like that song. So, and there's other good moments on the album too. Definitely wasn't expecting to put this high, but it is a great album. Number 12, Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden. Oh, this might be on everybody's best list. This might be on some of your guys' worst lists. Who knows? But Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden. This is just a strong, strong album. This is their most consistent album to date, in my opinion. Like after they've had a little bit of time to like develop their sound to what it was, like to what it could be, like they've really like gelled their sound together and made like what people would really know them for now. And I feel like this album is like basically a complete arc completed, I guess. It's probably a terrible way to describe it, but I mean it's good. It's really good. Very diverse, very deserving of its diversity, and yeah, very good album. And number 11, Foo Fighters. But Here We Are. And this is also one of the strongest albums from, like, this is also the strongest album from this band in a long time. And yeah, it's surprising this made it all the way to number 11, but it's unfortunate what happened to Taylor Hawkins and all that stuff, but they still made a pretty good album with this, like, this time around. Very like harkening back to the '90s a lot with this kind of sound. Like there's some very good stuff in this album. I think there's very emotional stuff, and it's just easily their one of their best albums to date. So Foo Fighters at number 11. But here we are. I'm going to drink some water real quick. All right. So now we are in the top 10. The top 10 albums of the year. Starting at number 10, Withholding Absence, with the album The Noble Art of Self-Destruction. This is another great album, in my opinion. Like, not as good as their previous album. That album won Album of the Year in 2021. Greatest mistake of my life. This one isn't nearly as good as that album was. That album is great, but there's not really any way it could have been better than that. But like on its own, it's a very strong rock album, post-hardcore album. It's a very strong album in that realm. Very unique band. Lucas Woodland is killing it on vocals on this album, like on so many of these songs. And yeah, there's some very strong tracks on here. Like Crooked Melody, that's a good song, the good first single. False Dawn was good. And then you have tracks like Liminal, Angel in the Marble, and stuff like that are strong songs, that are very strong, like, and full of replayability, especially Liminal. I've been coming back to that song a lot this year, so, yeah, we have Holding Absence at number 10. You know, very unique band, very recommendable band for you guys to check out. Number 9, we have Frostbit, Machine Destroy, a very strong, excellent way to kick off the new year with a bang, with a very just dissonant yet beautiful bang. And you know, like, yeah, like Machine Destroy easily is an effort. Like, if you have not heard of this band, they are like so many different things. They are part Thal, which is a subgenre of like progressive stuff. They are part gent, they are part nu metal, part industrial, part this, part that. But, like, they are so good at combining them all into one. And there's so many, like, different things that they do. Like, the riff calculation and stuff, the noises and stuff like that. That it just makes something very unique and just very just badass. In my opinion, like it's a very nuanced like selection, and they mix it up so well. And for a new band to do that, that's very, very strong, and that should be enough incentive for you, the viewer, to go check them out and give them a listen, give their music a listen, because it is good. Check out their other albums too. In my opinion, like. We should get more people to get into this band because they are one of the most unique bands out there doing what they do today. And the reason they're not higher is because I don't know why. Number 8, Polaris, Fatalism. Another unfortunate thing happening. Sadly enough, even after like the first single was released, their guitarist passed away, and that's sad. That's very unfortunate. And he went out on a bang, even though that wasn't the intention, I think, because like his performance on this album is very good, I think. Excuse me. And the rest of the album is like follows in his wake and being very good as well. Like again, I don't think it's as strong as The Death of Me, but only by a little bit. I think, because like The Death of Me was a good album. This is another good album as well. Like, and the production's a little bit better on this album as well. And there's a lot of very strong stuff on this album. I'm basically saying like the same thing about a lot of it because, you know, this album's so good, like it's hard to put into words exactly what is strong or whatever. But I really think this album is one of the strongest in a while. Like, especially in as terms of this year, I really think it is a very strong metalcore album, and we need more of those because the metalcore genre, like I've said before, is very bland, and there was some of that in the top 10 worst. This is how you do it well, in my opinion. Fatalism by Polaris is an exhibition on how you could do that well, and so there you go. Number 7, Red with Rated R. This is a surprising one for a lot of people because some people don't like the album. They think it's like a misstep. I think this is probably their best album in a while, at least since A Beauty and Rage. And I've been a fan of Red for a long time before this, and I think they did a very good job on this album. Like, the hard rock and stuff, like, it's basically like all of their genres and stuff combined into one. Like, everything that they've ever done kind of just put into one package, and that's what makes it so great in my opinion. Like, it's definitely an improvement over Declaration, which was a misstep. In my personal opinion, it was like lower tier Red, in my opinion. It was more the same, and you know, they needed to jump back with an album that was much stronger, much more diverse, much more like engaging production wise, and that's what they did. Rated R by Red. It's also surprising because I didn't really think they could jump back to. I didn't really think they could like go back to like what they were doing previous, or go back to some like real appeal in their music. And you know, Rated R by Red, even though it's not their best album by a long shot, it still is a very strong album. And then we get to Silent Planet at number 6 with Summer Bloom. This is another very strong album from the metalcore genre, progressive metalcore, and yeah, this is more strong material. Silent Planet like proved in 2021 with their previous album Iridescent that they are a band that is worth noticing in the scene. They can come back 2 years later with Super Bloom, and they totally blow the crowd away, in my opinion, because this is a strong effort for sure. Lots of shoegaze in here, like lots of different sounds that they like combine together into one, and it works very well. And that's something I've said about a lot of albums. Like it's not very like my vocabulary isn't very like extended as much, but I'm trying the best I can here. But yeah, this is an album I really enjoyed, and it's only been about 2 months now, almost, since this album's been released. Super Bloom. Yeah, it's just a very strong, cohesive album. It's probably their best album to date. And that is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. This is a strong album, in my opinion. Easily one of the more unique progressive metalcore bands out there, in my personal opinion. Now we're in the top 5. At number 5, we get Crosses. Good Night, God Bless, I Love You, Delete. And do not delete this album, because this album is another surprise for this year, because I didn't really think that something with a lot of electronics in it, like a lot of like electronics, a lot of synth work and all that stuff, a lot of that stuff, I didn't really think it could place this high on a list, and I was proven wrong. But to some of you, you might be proven right, because like Chino Moreno is from Deftones, and of course, being a big Deftones fan, of course, you're probably going to think, oh, you saw this coming. Well, maybe a little bit, but, you know, like, also, the fact is that this album, it's just a strong album nonetheless. I mean, like, that's really only part of the equation, because, like Moreno's vocals are really good on this album as well, like, but it's, the music overall is very, like, engaging as well, like, and the guest vocalists and all that stuff, very engaging. And you know, like, this is a very strong side project in my opinion, and they really kind of outdid themselves with this, with the entirety of this project, because this could have just been, you know, like, that's good, but the fact that it's better than just good is remarkable in my opinion. And yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on here. I haven't really talked about individual tracks throughout this video, but like, there's a lot of stuff in here. Big Youth, Eraser, Ghost Ride, uh, Girls Float, Boys Cry. Like, yeah, there's just a lot of strong stuff on here. Definitely go check it out if you're a fan of Deftones or if you're a fan of something good in general. So, yeah, that's it. And number 4, we have Haken, however you say their name, with Fauna, their latest album. I was not necessarily, um, like, when this album was announced, I wasn't necessarily looking forward to it because I thought their previous album wasn't all that good. And then I heard Fauna, I'm like, whoa, this album's great. Like, and then I hear like Nightingale over and over and over and over, and then I hear other songs over and over, and I'm like, this album is pretty freaking good, in my opinion. Like, it's has a unique concept behind it, like where it's talking about like each animal for each song or whatever. That concept is very interesting, as evidenced by, I just said Nightingale. That's one, but and there's a song called Elephants Never Forget, which was also an animal, obviously. But yeah, this album, Fauna, fantastic work. Could even be their best work to date. This album really made me care about this band again. Like, after having been introduced to them a couple years ago through Vector, I think, and like kind of falling off, and then this album just really brought me back to this band. And that's a very good achievement for this band. I think like they should be proud of that they got me back into listening to their music. But, you know, like this, yeah, this is great. Like, Nightingale is a great song, and there's so many other tracks on here that are great as well. So, yeah, Fauna by Haken, however you say their name, wherever way you put it, this is a number 4, easily one of the best albums of the year. Now we get to number 3, Sevendust with Truth Killer. Easily one of their best albums too. There's a lot of bands on this list that are like making their best album in years. And Sevendust, definitely no exceptions at all to this. Easily one of their strongest albums in years. I would argue since Cold Day Memory, I would argue even Home or Seasons, like, or Animosity. It's the best since those, in my opinion. Like, this album, like, Truth Killer, this is, like, the band at the top of their game. I mean, like, they have so many good songs on here. There's so many, I mean, it's, hold on a sec. It's, like, they're, like, nearing 50, and they sound perfect, in my opinion. And they sound like they haven't, like, aged at all with this material. Like, it's that good. Like, you have, like, Superficial Drugs, Sick Mouth, very good songs, Fence and Everything, also good songs as well. And, you know, there's just, like, the energy level's high, the production is fantastic on this album, I will say. Like, it's an honor enough for this to be so high on the list. In fact, like with Haken, like, I was concerned that this album wouldn't be, like, nearly as high, like, because, I mean, it's hard rock, basically. It's hard rock, like, and this is a band that's, like, I got into, like, in the early 2010s, so there wasn't much of a way for this to easily be, like, let's just say it was a hard challenge for this to be as high as it was right now. Like, I would have predicted to be top 10, top 15, something like that. That's kind of like Blood and Stone, kind of like what that album was. But the fact is, it's number 3 because it is a return to form somewhat, even though Sevendust never really strayed away from their formula, and they haven't here, but it's so much more well executed this time around, and they have some unique twists that they throw in as well that makes it worthwhile. So, yeah, for the bronze medal, Sevendust with Truth Killer, and at number 3. Now we get to the silver medal. We get to the number 2 spot, the runner-up of the year. And that would be War of Being by Tesseract, which is a massive, like, opus for um, Tesseract, in my opinion. Easily one of their best albums, if not their best album. Like, and it's their best since their earlier material. Another band that's like made something that's like the best material since their early stuff, in my opinion. Like, and then Tesseract, like, it was hard to it was hard for me to decide a runner up for this list because it could have easily been anything, but Tesseract did it this time because it is a big album. It is such a monumental work of art, in my personal opinion, and Daniel Tompkins really just goes above and beyond in his vocals to like really like just he pushes himself very much on this album, and everybody does on this album. Like the drum work, guitar work, like bass work, even like every element that's here is just pushed, and it feels like a complete album in that regard. It feels like a journey. You know, there's individual tracks along in that journey that are very good, that are very fantastic. Title track, Legion, Sirens, um, Echoes, even. There's individual songs in that journey that work very well, but the fact is, this is a complete album. And, you know, like, it's probably their most complete that they've done. Like, way better than something like Sonder, or, like, even Polaris, which were, like, way better than those albums did, they were still good, but this is them, this is their grand opus, their magnum opus. I said that, like, and I am sticking by that, because this is huge. This is easily one of the most like immersive albums of the year, and it's runner up on my list to actually. So there you go. That's number 2, Tesseract, War of Being, and it's time to crown the number 1 album of the year. Let's see what that will be this year. And the number 1 is Wanderer by the Intersphere. What a great album! This album, like, if you don't know this band, they're from Germany and stuff, and, you know, I've been singing, like, high praises to this band as well. Just look at my Spotify Wrapped. I mean, like, there's just a lot of Intersphere songs on there, even from previous albums, and likewise, this album turns out to be their best as well, and it's also, like, their best that they've done, and, you know, like, it's Intersphere is such a unique band, you guys. Like, there's so much that they do that's unique. They're more rock, but with like a progressive kind of side of things and stuff. And what they do with that is very clever. Like, I feel like a lot of like metalheads and rock fans as well will really enjoy this album, because there's just so much diversity in this album, and it's all cohesive, in my opinion, like, as well. Like, I say it in my opinion a lot. So, yeah, there's stuff like Wanderer, Bulletproof, a la carte, Always on the Run, Heads Will Roll, and of course, my favorite song of the year, which is Down. That's a fantastic song. That is a fantastic song. If you should learn anything from this album, is to go check out the song Down, because that's a great song. And just everything else, like, there's just so much energy on this album. There's so much good drum work, good riffs, good vocals, good everything, you know? And just, like, it's kind of everything you would ever want out of an album, basically. Like, it's just perfection. Like, there's some songs that I'm not crazy about on this album as much. They're all good. All the tracks are good. But, like, there's songs that are not as good as others. But that doesn't mean that this album does not succeed, because it certainly does. The Intersphere is... From the second I even heard this album, like, for the first couple of tracks, I knew this would be my favorite album of the year. And I was waiting for something to top it for a while. Nothing ever did, and, you know, be happy with that. because the Endosphere, this band really needs to be checked out by more people. This band really needs to break out here in the United States. They are fantastic. They are like one of the best like bands out there right now. And yeah, pretty much like yeah, there's nothing really that bad about this album. It's great. Definitely go check that album out that I just mentioned. It's wonderful. That album is just wonderful in my opinion. One of the best albums of the decade so far, along with Thornhill's Heroin, which was like which was the album of the year last year. Definitely go check those out, and check out everything I said in the top 25 best albums of the year out. So now, I gotta check what time it is real quick. I have the time thing up. It is 11:21, so we have 39 minutes until the ball actually drops. So we might as well go into the third section of our list here. It'll be the top 5 best movies of 2023. Here we go. So yeah, this list would certainly be a little bit more appealing to people, like, I guess, because movies are more appealing, I guess, for people, but whatever. I actually have never done something like this before on the channel, so listing the top 5 best movies on the list, but I figured I'm pretty much done watching movies this year, so I'm gonna take some water. So much talking. So, yeah, let's take a look at what the top 5 best albums are. And of course, I'm going to talk about worst movie of the year, which really isn't a terrible movie. It's just mediocre, and the honorable mention as well. So, worst movie of the year would definitely be Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which again isn't terrible. It's fine, I guess, but it's nothing special. It's just more the same from Marvel, with the humor, with the visuals and stuff. It's just nothing really that special, in my opinion. Like, and I saw this on opening day, as some of you might know, but it's just there, really. It's just basically just flat. You see a lot of stuff coming in this movie. It's basically just mid, in my opinion. And that's what mid really is. Mid is really something that's just mediocre. In my opinion. It's not an awful movie, it's just there. So, we get to... I'll actually give out some honorable mentions as well. There's Mission Impossible, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, Creator, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. All those are good, but we should probably get into our top 5 right now. And I will I'll try to look at comments after this section of the video is done. So, upon number 5 is Killers of the Flower Moon. Of course, definitely wasn't really expecting anything like this for me to see or whatever. But it is a new Scorsese film, and that just, like, causes a lot of, like, attention from movie fans everywhere, because Scorsese is beloved as a film director. He's done a lot of other critically acclaimed films, and this one is very good as well. Like, it is a long sit. It is a very long sit, 3.5 hours, but there's a lot of good visuals, and it just sucks you into the world of the story that they're trying to tell with this. And the acting's very good in it, and there's just a lot of key players in this, or key things in this that, like, make it good. Like, the direction's good, of course. Just basically a lot of things about this film you can't really go wrong with. So, unless you don't want to sit through a long 3.5 hour movie. So, yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon is a movie that I highly recommend, and yeah, definitely go check it out. And we hit the hour mark. Number 4. This could be a surprising one for some of you, and that is Migration, which is higher than Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man, in terms of animated movies. I only really saw 2 animated movies this year. That one and Spider-Man and Migration. And Migration is personally, like I said this in the review I posted a couple days ago, it is preferably my choice for favorite animated movie of this year. Because it's not very long. It's 80 minutes, like without that short, that Despicable Me thing, whatever. Who, that part, I just don't really care about. But Migration, like in general, I do care about because it's a very yeah, it's a quick film. It's a simple story. Ducks traveling to a different part of the world, like from their home, and they go like on an adventure and stuff like that. And that's basically what it is. I mean, very, it's a very easy sit, and that's not really the only reason why this film is really good. It's because I really think that the expression work is great, like from the character, like the characters are animated very well, like very expressive, very like solid work altogether. Like the voice acting behind them is very good, especially from uh, the kid actors. I think are very good on this film, like and other people as well. And you also have the visuals, which are very good, very colorful, very bright, and a story that is very consistent and it just keeps you engaged, keeps you invested in the characters. And that is Migration. It's a very wonderful film, in my opinion, that should be checked out. Definitely my favorite animated film of the year. It won't win the Oscar, unfortunately, because it's not really like it's not comparable to Across Spider-Verse, which I know will probably get Oscar attention and award attention. But personally, I've said this before too. Migration is the movie I would really think is the best of this year, the animation-wise, of course. So number 3, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and this is a stunning conclusion to the MCU franchise, which is easily my favorite franchise of the MCU. Like, and it's really the only MCU film that has worked since No Way Home, at least. Like, it's one of 2 films that I would say has like worked to like the best level possible in that franchise, and it's because like we've loved these characters for so much, and this is a very emotional movie as well. Like, there is very like elements of humor and stuff in it. There's like a lot of the same characteristics that would make a film like this, that would make like a Guardians of the Galaxy film what it is. But it's very strong subject material, and like how emotional it is, like because like we've been around these characters for like 9 years now, like, and they've been probably the best characters in the MCU. I mean, Rocket Raccoon really took me up like by surprise at how good of a character he was, and then other characters too, like in the franchise, are also very good. So yeah, you have that, and like you have the climax, which is very emotional for me because it's very happy, very like it's like this is it. This is like this is it. Kind of made me emotional, to be honest. In fact, like it was a movie I like even cried to, like, which is very rare for me to do in any movie. It's a very satisfying end to the trilogy, in my opinion. Like, and there's several moments that are like tear worthy in this, like as well, like because it's about Rocket. It's about my favorite character in this franchise, and they did him a lot of justice. And I really think that this is one of their best. This is one of the best MCU films, period, in my opinion. Definitely go check this out if you haven't already. It's a bummer that you probably, if you didn't see this in the theater, that's probably a bummer. But yeah, definitely go check it out if you haven't, and or check it out again. Number two, John Wick Chapter 4. Easily one of the best action movies of the year. Period. Easily, even, and I would say this without having seen a lot of action movies this year. Like, yeah, John Wick Chapter 4, like, definitely kills it in terms of, like, action scenes. And so it's not unlike any of the other John Wicks. Any of the other John Wick movies, because, like, there's a lot of good, like, action in all of those. But this is, like, films. This is just, like, at a master level here. I mean, this is just a big film, and it's a lot of very excellent visuals and stuff, and like the action scenes, like that's basically what it is. Like the action scenes are so well choreographed here that's like you don't really want it to end. Like I know I was feeling that way when I saw it in the theater. Like I didn't want the movie to end or like anything like that. But you know, it's a very resounding moment for the John Wick trilogy, and there is probably going to be more. Even though, like, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil anything. This is what it's about. But I am going to say that hopefully there is more from this, and we are getting another film. It's called Ballerina. That's supposed to come out this year, at the beginning of June, and that film, we'll see what that film has to offer, or if it offers anything even interesting to begin with. But as for Keanu Reeves and the rest of the John Wick trilogy and this film, definitely a well-rounded, well-executed action opus that is definitely worthy of being watched, in my opinion. And also the opinions of others as well. So yeah. But one opinion that will be shared by a lot of people, for as far as this year is concerned, number one, Oppenheimer. Excellent, excellent film. I did not think, like, when I first saw Oppenheimer, I didn't think it would be number one on my list. But then I saw it again in theaters. It's the only movie this year I saw twice in theaters because it is a great film. And it's easily one of the best films of the decade so far, and of decades, if not the very best. Because, like, it's just a very well executed story. I mean, it's a very cleverly done story as how they construct the story as well, like with and stuff like, and of course the visuals are great. I can't really say enough about the visuals of this film. And the sound is like massive. It just grabs your attention, and the acting is great. I mean, the acting, like, you've got so many good actors here, like, and they're all giving it, like, their best that they can, really. It's no surprise that they have so much Oscar attention on them. And this movie, as well, has a lot of Oscar attention, because it's great, because it's a big, massive movie. It might be Christopher Nolan's, like, one of his best movies, in my opinion. And I'm a big Nolan fan, so, again, putting this at number one, it might sound obvious that this would be here, but again, this is just a list on how I really feel about these films, and I really feel Oppenheimer is great. I really feel like Oppenheimer, the people are correct that Oppenheimer will be a classic film come 40 years from now, like when generations from now, people will be watching this film and like analyzing this film and just like, you know, just tearing it apart and just like really just like just going crazy about this film. Like, it will go down like in one of those like AFI lists of like best movies of all time if they ever do that again. It will go like, it will be like the National Film Registry deserves to like get hold of some copies of the film or whatever and put them in their database. Like, it's one of those films, and I really feel that way because yeah, it's just there's no going wrong with this film. Nolan has really proved himself to be a fantastic director throughout all of his films that he's done. Like, not every film has been like 10 out of 10, but like he's definitely done a lot of great films in the past. Oppenheimer, what can I say that hasn't already been said in a lot of videos? Definitely go check Oppenheimer out. It is fantastic. It is an A plus in my opinion. It is a 10 out of 10 film. It is going to be like looked at as a masterpiece in the years to come. Definitely don't waste your time. Go check it out. And I saw this in the IMAX theater, the 70 millimeter, and that was great too because like yeah, it was fant- that was a fantastic experience. That was a fantastic day, even so that alone made it worth it. And also, yeah, just like tearing this film apart, like and just really watching it, like it's just yeah, there's just really no going wrong with Oppenheimer. This is the year of Barbenheimer, which some people be putting Barbie on their list. I didn't see Barbie. Um, I didn't really have any desire or real push to see Barbie. I heard good things about it as well. But Oppenheimer really, like, that whole thing really took off, and suffice to say, both films really did their part. Even though I haven't seen Barbie yet, I didn't see Indiana Jones, and I didn't see the Marvels, which doesn't matter because the Marvels I didn't think really looked all that good. But I'm just going over films I haven't seen. So yeah, Oppenheimer easily the best film of this year. So we're done with all of that, and I'm gonna see what time it is right now. How close we are to the new year? 11:37. So we've been going for like an hour and 12 minutes. So I'll be right back. I'm just going to get something to drink, and I'm going to read some comments. So please stand by. I'm actually also going to point the fan over here as well, and I might switch the lighting when I get back. So yeah. All right, I'm back. Changing the lighting a bit. Yeah, this is something on okay. Well, I get something to drink. Now that that's over, I did all the lists and stuff. We can check ABC's running it. the New Year's ball, whatever. Alright. We can just sit here and chill out for a little bit. Currently, 11:40. Actually, 11:41. Just switched from 11:40 to 11:41. And we're going to chill out for a bit before we get to the ball drop. So, yeah, it's just... Yeah. Maybe NBC. NBC is probably they're doing theirs. I have a headache. All that talking. Again, if you see me looking over here, it's just because I'm doing stuff. Trying to figure out what's going on. That was, I wonder... No, I don't think this is. I wonder what it's doing on the red carpet other than the, other thing, the New Year's Rockin' Eve. I'm just looking because I honestly don't know if it's streaming anywhere on YouTube or whatever. Because we'll watch that. Also have some 11:45. I'll also pull this down a little bit. So now I have 2 leads going. 11:45. Okay, so. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna look at all the chats and stuff. Now, just use my big face. If I can. Live chat, all the live chat. Yeah, good. You can definitely, most definitely hear me. That was a while ago. Elephants are cool, whatever. Yeah, the only person who's been chatting here is, oh well, I'm here. So, which is Noel, of course. So, there's 2 people watching. So, yeah, take that whatever you want. Excuse me. There we go, that's better. So, I'm just watching and waiting. 11:47, of course. Yeah. There was another one here. Yep. I'm just watching the New Year's thing. I don't know why, like, though, New Year's Rocking Eve is actually on. Like, on the actual television. But, it's like, that's just a commercial, but it was on, like, something weird a while ago. It was on, like, an on the red carpet thing, which I don't even know what the heck that was. Excuse me. Let's, take a look at some stuff. Yeah. We're just gonna wait until these commercials are over. For some, to prove if, like, this actually is, this website, the ABC7 website's actually doing the New Year's Rocking Eve or not. So, because I know New Year's Rocking Eve is, of course, gonna be streaming. It's gonna be playing on here because that's where it's played before. I don't know if it's. See, look, it's on the red carpet. Like what the heck? Like. Dick Clark's New Year's Rocking Eve. What channel? If I got it wrong. Oh, it's on ABC. Let me just see how to watch it. Oh shoot, I accidentally clicked out. Because I want to see it. I want to see the ball dropping and stuff. I don't want to go off of this thing I have up here, which just says it's 11:50, of course. I just don't really want to go off of there. So, and of course, I will say, I'll post Happy New Year and all that stuff in the Discord as well. Like a lot of you will probably be doing, like, on the Discord. If it's on this, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Media Lab has a Discord that we go on. of course, for people who watch this later and have no idea what I'm talking about. So, yeah. So, let's see. If I'm holding this from a bad angle, it's because I'm just... Okay. Oh, you have to get a... okay. So it says you have to get a subscription to watch it, not on their website or whatever. It's just like, just not showing the ball dropping or anything. It's just like on the website, it's showing this weird on the red carpet thing, and it's not even like a red carpet show. I guess it's for the Critics' Choice Awards or something like that, which, whatever. But at least I have this, which, come on, open up. I have that. Some News 18, I don't know what that is. This could be, like, after it happened or not, or I don't know, but we'll see, once it actually hits 12 o'clock. I figured this would be something a little different, you know, than what I would usually do. Like, sometimes I'd post a video, like a silly little video or something. I did that last year. Sometimes I'll just do other stuff. But yeah, this is basically what it is. So we're gonna watch the ball drop, like, and you know, like, this is, it says it's off, like, a couple seconds or whatever, like, it's always, like, off, because, like, this is broadcasting from New York, of course, like, and it's probably just 3 hours ago this happened, so, like, there you go, like, all these people doing this kind of stuff, or having a blast out here in Times Square. So it's like, this must have been recorded. It's being recorded now, which means it's 2:53 out there, or it's like was taped 3 hours ago and it's getting onto here or whatever. So yeah, like, or the ball hasn't dropped yet. We'll find out what this CNN thing, like, because this is on CNN News 18 apparently, and we'll find out where this video actually is originated, or if this is actually legit at all, or whatever. There's fireworks going off. Wait a minute. I think yeah, this was like streamed, because it's already showing the ball dropping, I think. Like, the ball's already down. I'm not sure. It's like all sorts of fireworks and stuff going off. Like, the ball dropped over there. Like, this was like a while ago. So I'm gonna have to do something. I'm gonna have to do some quick searching real quick. Excuse me. I'm just doing some searching. I think this actually might be it. It might. It's just from ABC News. I'm not sure. So, what would you do thing? From GMA3, Good Morning America, or countdown to New Year's celebrations in Disneyland. Huh. I'll just show you guys. Whatever. Again. Oh, it is live. Oh, wow. So, yeah, we can go off of here. Because it is live from, wait a minute, once again, what? Wait a minute. Let me see 3 hours ago. Yeah, this already happened. I'm like, uh, I guess we'll watch the Disneyland one, I guess. Kind of fitting. Because I'm actually going to Disneyland. Let's see what the Disneyland one has up. If there's a timer or whatever. No, I don't think there's a timer on this one. I'm just kind of just clicking randomly right now. I just don't really have any idea what I'm doing. You would think there would be one for like Costa Mesa. I mean, not Costa Mesa. What am I saying? For California. Well, I mean, there's a countdown over here that's counting down, and it's now 11:57 almost. So, I guess we're gonna have to just do it like manually or whatever. Just count down without watching the ball. Somebody's calling me. You know what? All right, just I'm gonna mute the mic. I guess they're making me watch it down here, so that's why I have my microphone muted. So, um, yeah, we'll just go down here.
Who wanna be my kiss?
Watching it out here.
Don't take video of me.
Ready for that New Year's kiss? 20 seconds.
20 seconds, everybody. 20 seconds, everybody. For the new year is coming up. But of course, it's not aligned, so it's going to be whatever. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zilch.
Give me a kiss.
So
Give me a kiss.
it is the new year
Oh,
now.
you give me a
All right. That was kind of unexpected. They had me come down here. I guess that's better than just being up in my room. I guess. To watch the new year. That was a little awkward. But yeah, it is now 12 o'clock, of course. It is a new year. And I'm pretty sure this year will go by just as quickly as last year did. See, look, it's 12:01 right now. So, yeah. Um, well, I hope you enjoyed what we were doing here tonight on the Scamp the Wolf account, like on the stream. I hope you had a blast. And there's certainly going to be a lot of content coming in the future here. As far as like, pretty much similar to what you've already been seeing here on the channel, of course. Like CD upload, CD pickups, physical media pickups and stuff, movie post-theater reactions, plenty of those coming this year. Other stuff you might not even be expecting this year. Maybe some lists of stuff. And there's just a lot of excellent stuff to really be looking forward to this year. I really think this is going to be a great year as far as like the stuff that we're going to be getting is concerned, especially in music. I think music, I mean, we have a ton of potential coming out, a lot of potential like albums coming out from great bands and stuff, and maybe some like not so good bands as well. Like we might get some good movies as well in there as well. There's a lot coming out right now. Like there's a lot that are like anticipated. Like there's Kung Fu Panda 4 coming out. There's Deadpool 3, Ballerina, like I said before. There's Furiosa, looks interesting. Mad Max movie. There's just a lot of stuff that's coming out this year that I'm really hoping is good. And there's also a lot of like promise for this year as well. Like this year I'm really gonna go like as far as physical media is concerned. I'm really gonna be going for vinyl. That's my vinyl crate right there. I don't have that many albums as you can see, but I am going to be. I'll at least try to get more vinyl this year. As far as that's concerned, and I'm just trying to get more music. Probably less music than last year. I don't know. I can't really predict what's going to happen with as much precision as normal. But I mean, like anything goes. Anything will happen this year. I'm just really just excited for what's to come. In my life this year, like I really want to go on a vacation to another state this year. That's something I really want to do. Maybe next year too, if this year doesn't work out. Yeah, and there's just a lot of good stuff I'm looking forward to this year. So I can't really say it all. I guess a resolution I would have is to be more focused on stuff. Like, I know I asked that question already if you're in Discord or whatever, but just like get my focus enough to actually like be more focused on tasks or whatever, or like doing drawings and stuff and not getting distracted by a lot of things would be a good resolution to have this year. Like I know the typical ones: lose weight, like do all this, do all that, like all that typical stuff, but like that's not as much one of my goals. I mean, I would like to eat healthier, of course. I would like to do all that stuff, but this year, like my stance right now, and if you meet me in person I'll probably say this, is to be more focused, like be more well attuned to like what I'm doing. Like my focus is really like not great. I can tell you. But I really just want to get more focused on things and get more ideas as well. So, if you want to know the resolution, that's basically it. I just want to do more things. So, alright, I think it's a good time to wrap things up. It's like pretty late, so. And I don't know how much power my phone has. Actually, I had it in the charger the whole time, so it should be fine. But anyway, yeah. This is Scant the Wolf signing out. Take care. And have a happy new year, everybody. I will see you later.